Hi class, this is lesson 12-1, Introduction to Probability. This is the first lesson on our unit on probability. Here's the purpose. The purpose is to estimate the likelihood of an event and to write and compare those probabilities. We do have a vocabulary term, so at this point I want you to go ahead and turn to the back of your composition books to record it. Probability is our vocabulary term, and the definition here is the measure of how likely an event will occur. What's the probability of rain today? What's the probability that the Chicago Bulls will win the NBA title? Those are questions of probability. Here we have a number line that represents probability. Let's look at the vocabulary terms on top. Here we have impossible, unlikely, as likely as not, likely, and certain. Then right below those terms are numbers, fractions, or percentages. Probability of something being impossible to happen would be 0 or 0%. Something, on the other hand, that is certain to happen would be a 1 or 100%. And something that is as likely to happen as not happen would be 5/10 or 1/2 or 50%. Let's look at an example. Here the directions tell us write impossible, unlikely, as likely as not, likely, or certain to describe each event. Let me go ahead and drag those events over. Here we have a statement, the month of June has 30 days. Well, does the month of June always have 30 days? Yes. It is certainly going to happen. That event will certainly happen. 100% sure. Next. Let's look at a coin toss. Heads or tails? A coin toss comes up heads. Well, what's the probability of a coin toss coming up heads? Well, there are two different outcomes, either heads or tails. So, as we look at these terms, heads is as likely as not to occur during a flip of a coin as tails. As likely as not. Equal chance of heads, an equal chance of getting tails. Oops. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Is you roll a 9 on a standard number cube. Well, on a standard number cube, there are only 6 possibilities, and they're numbers 1 through 6. A 9 doesn't factor into a standard number cube. So what are the chances of rolling a 9? It's impossible. Let's look at D, the last example on this slide. It says this spinner lands on red, and as we look at this spinner is mostly composed of red with a quarter section composed of white. So we can't say for certain that it'll land on red, and we can't say certainly it's not impossible for it to land on red because it'll probably land on it the majority of the time. Is it an equal chance? Is it as likely as not to land on red as it is to land on white? No, it's going to land on red more times. So what's the term that we're going to use? Well, the term is likely. The spinner will likely land on red. Let's look at this example. It says the chance that Ethan is chosen to represent his class in the student council is 6/10. Write this probability as a fraction and as a percent. Okay, this is actually pretty simple. You're used to these type of problems. Let's transfer this or translate this into a fraction. 6/10 would look like 6/10. Simplified, Divide both top and bottom by 2, we'd have 3/5. That's our fractional probability. Well, what's our percentage? Well, 6/10 is the same thing as 60 hundredths, or 60 per hundred. That means that would be 60%. So that takes care of the percentage. Now here's your complete the problem. I want you to go ahead and record these terms: impossible, likely as not, unlikely, and certain, and describe some events, or an event for each, that would fall into that category. What's an example of an event that will be impossible to occur? An event that will be likely to occur? An event that is as likely as not, a 50% chance of occurring. And I can't say 50% chance all the time, but I can say it has an equal chance of occurring as all the other options. Something that is unlikely to occur, and something that will certainly occur every time. All right, we will see you in class.